episode 38 of Everywhere You Look, the unofficial, unofficial Full House podcast. My name's Thomas Green. You can find me on Twitter at NotThatTomGreen.
And I'm Alex Green, and you can find me on Twitter at TheAlexBGreen.
This week's Season 2, Episode 16, Baby Love. Michelle falls in love with a boy from Nebraska, and there's a lot of winking that happens. It's creepy. Before we get into things, Leonard F. Chikarason, professional wrestling commentator, podcaster, comic book connoisseur, and most importantly, our friend, will be joining us in a moment. We had recorded this about a week ago. Unfortunately, the awesome, super professional, super duper recording equipment that we have cut off the first 6 minutes of the recording. So we're just doing this to kind of get you up to speed, and then we'll go to Leonard in a moment. But before we do that, as always, please check out the band Beat Radio. They perform the super awesome cover of Everywhere You Look, the Full House theme song. You can check them out at beatradio.bandcamp.com to get a free download of Everywhere You Look, as well as check out the rest of their fantastic discography. Speaking of discographies, we don't have one, but you can check out all prior episodes of this podcast, including Leonard's prior appearance. I believe it was episode 17 of the show, tinyurl.com/fullhousepodcast. If you're feeling nasty, please leave a 5-star rating, write a short review, and like I'll do later on in the podcast, I'll cuss you out on a future episode of the podcast. You'll not be out of the cuss list, you'll be super cool, you'll be the coolest kid at your school if you leave a 5-star rating and write a short review. We've jumped incredibly in the rating department the past week. Tons of people wanting to get cussed out, who will be cussed out. Don't get left out. We hit 55-star ratings this past week. That's a pretty cool thing. Also, check us out on social media, facebook.com/everywhereyoulookpodcast, everywhereyoulookpodcast.tumblr.com, and on Twitter at FullHousePod. Follow us, like us, subscribe to us, be our friends. Now, before we jump into the episode, just want to get you caught up to speed before we go to Leonard at the part that cuts in at this day in history, February 24th, 1989. Not much happened. It was Estonian Independence Day, and Alex isn't paying attention to me as usual.
I am paying attention. I was just double checking to make sure I had the right day.
February 24th, 1989.
Yes, but I was making sure that the information I'd used was correct.
See, this is what happens when you record a podcast on Skype and then the Skype recorder doesn't work, is you forget things when you re-record the intro a week later. It's inside baseball. We
recorded this episode before last week's episode, and we had deleted all our notes for this episode. So we're just kind of winging it at this point.
Yeah, so all of you people who are talking about how awesome we are on iTunes are going to go back and delete those reviews. But no, the Estonian Independence Day.
Yeah, and if it's correct, because now I'm thinking that I might have gotten the wrong day when we did it the week before or whatever, but there was a flight going from Honolulu to New Zealand that something went wrong, and the roof ripped off, and 9 people were sucked out of first class and killed.
The roof was ripped off. And then tragedy happened, and this parody song isn't so funny. But yeah, that's what happened. It was a super depressing day, so everyone needed a giggle. Speaking of giggles, this cold open, as usual.
My favorite so far.
There were a bunch of Shar-Pei puppies. Kimmy Gibbler's mom is apparently a breeder.
Yeah, apparently. Which must be how they can afford that mortgage.
Yeah, it was crazy. They had like 6 Shar-Pei puppies in Michelle's room. It was DJ, Kimmy, and Michelle playing with puppies. And puppies. And the funny joke is they tell the puppies to roll over, and Michelle rolls over because babies are stupid. LOL.
See, I liked this one because I volunteer at a local shelter. Tom helps me out. I take photos of the animals available for adoption. And it was 2 days before we recorded this podcast, I had taken a picture of a Shar-Pei. And I ended up spending like over half an hour trying to catch him and bring him back inside because he just wanted to play. It was fun seeing that after having spent time with him. His owner ended up reclaiming him, unfortunately, on the day he was neutered. So
snip. And yeah, really all we got cut off from the old recording was in terms of the first scene was Michelle was watering plants with Joey, and he was making Scooby-Doo voices.
Yeah, he was really weird about it. He's like, okay, you water your Scrappy-Doo plant, and I'll water Scooby-Doo, the big plant. And then he was trying to get Michelle to water the little plant, but he used a Scooby voice instead of a Scrappy voice, and she just poured water on Joey.
That's pretty much all we missed.
And Jesse runs downstairs, and he's like, we gotta watch Wake Up San Francisco. Becky's gonna wink at me to let me know if we have a date. Yes. And it's like, why can't you just tell him that if you're gonna have a date? Like, why be playing coy?
She's insane. She's a
she-devil, clearly.
Yeah, oh, hey, we're not exclusive after we bought each other really cool presents on Valentine's Day to now winking over dates.
It's so weird.
It is weird.
We never winked at each other to let each other know we were having dates.
I physically
Tom can't wink at all.
I can't. Maybe I'll have Alex take a picture of me winking.
He always looks like he's having a seizure, like his eyes roll in the back of his head, or he just like flinches.
Okay, now I'm going to make an audio edit here. I'm exposing the podcast industry. And after the next time you hear us, Leonard F. Chikarason will be with us.
Morning, kids. Come on, we gotta watch Danny's show.
What's up?
Well, Becky's gonna let me know with a wink if I have a date with her tonight. 1 wink for yes, 2 winks for no.
If she gets something caught in her eye, you could end up engaged.
All right, here we go. Here.
Wake up, San Francisco. I'm Danny Tanner.
And I'm Rebecca Donaldson.
Is that a wink or a blink?
I don't know. I was staring at her legs.
Anyway, before we bring our first guest out, I have a surprise. I thought it'd be fun to see our city fresh through the eyes of a typical tourist from the Midwest, Mr. Anderson.
Hi there, Mr. Anderson.
Ooh!
What brings you to San Francisco?
Mommy.
Howie, say hi to the Bay Area.
Hi, Bay. Hi, Howie.
Howie came all the way from Nebraska to visit with his Aunt Becky.
Oh, hold it. You said tourist. This is your nephew.
Yes, my nephew, the tourist. Howie, before you give us your impressions on the city, wave to Grandma Rose and Grandpa Wilbur.
Howie, cute.
Rebecca, this is a shameless display of using our show just to talk to your family. I'm sorry you had to see that. Mom, Dad, Cousin Ed.
Sorry, Danny. I just thought it would be a nice gesture.
Hot dog, Joseph, a double wink. Chill that champagne, pal.
Jesse's watching, and he's like, oh my gosh, was that a wink? Was that a wink? And Joey's like, I don't know. I was too busy looking at her legs. And I'm like, I'm like, why would you say that to the guy who's dating her? Like, if I was Jesse, I'd be mad.
Why would you say that in general?
Because Joey, I think, has Asperger's, or at least has no filter, and just like, there's no filter between my brain and my mouth, and I just blurt out whatever's in there.
Becky's like, oh, I have a special guest. He's a tourist from Nebraska.
Yeah, they want to see the city through fresh eyes.
And so a little boy walks out.
Yes, a toddler, who ends up being her nephew Howie from Nebraska. And Danny, of all people, is like, you're using your family to get, like, attention on air. And I'm just thinking, how many episodes have you spent filming your family for segments on this show?
They've, like, 6 episodes in a row, they used Danny's using a camera around the house as a tax write-off joke.
Like, he filmed Michelle doing random things all freaking day.
But the way that she initially introduced this young man, she, like, the lead up to it, like, it was supposed to be a reveal that it was a small child.
Mr. Anderson.
Right. And Tom.
Yes. We know of a gentleman named Mr. Anderson.
Mr. I'm not going to do the rest. But that was enough. So yes, a little boy shows up with like a little blondie bowl cut hairdo. And immediately Michelle is in love. Just like all 2-year and 10-month-olds are whenever they see a TV show of a kid their own age, immediately in love.
She's like, ooh.
Yeah, she obviously learned that from Joey. I'm surprised she wasn't like, look at them gams. But also, it's Danny's kind of acting like it's like an actual tourist, because when she's like, oh, it's my nephew, he's like, oh, what? Which I thought was fun. And also the kid tells a joke that I thought was funny. One of them's like, what brings you to San Francisco? And he replies, Mommy. I'm like, that's funny. Like, how'd you get here by plane?
And Michelle's like, he's cute. And, you know, when Danny's yelling at Becky, she's like, I'm sorry, I just thought it would be a nice Jess double wink, sure. And I'm like, that's totally distracting in the middle of your broadcast. It's so freaking unprofessional. Why can't you just tell him if you're going out with him?
There's no subtlety at all. They I think they'd even did like a camera take to go to a tighter shot of her. And she tipped off the board op, like, hey, I'm gonna say this thing. It means that I'm gonna fuck my boyfriend tonight. I want you to get a real tight shot so he gets horny, okay?
But
Cool.
on the plus side, Becky Donaldson can actually wink, unlike Tom.
Shut up. See, this is a podcast. They're only hearing it, so
Yeah,
the joke's not...
we could, like, take a Vine video or something sometime. Like, he always looks like he's having a seizure. His eyes roll in the back of his head.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Like, when you try to wink, all I see is the whites of your eyes.
Well, that's your fault. You're drunk.
Although lately he's taken to, like, flinching. Like, really
Mostly
hard.
when you hit me.
It's the chops.
But,
He's gonna get one now if he's not careful.
they literally blow the entire first segment of the show on Becky wanting to get her nephew on air. This is like if The Tonight Show, if Jimmy Fallon's just like, oh, hey, I want to do an episode about my aunt's kids. Cool. Hey, my cousin's in town. He's my first guest. Come on out. And they blow, like, so much airtime on Jimmy Fallon just catching up with his cousin. That's what this was.
Now, I will say this, you know, playing both sides of the thing here. One, very unprofessional. I completely agree to use your job just to, like, get your family and so forth on TV, or even just to catch up with your family. But on the flip side, you know, at my independent wrestling commentary jobs, I make all sorts of references and things for people that are just like the most inside thing is completely detracting from what I'm supposed to be doing for my job. So, you know, I can't say that I'm not guilty of this, but it is completely unprofessional.
But that being said, at your, let's say your super secret science job, when
Right.
you're behind the Bunsen beakers, you're not like, hey guys, you know what my favorite month is? April, wink, wink. So that's about what this would be like.
Yeah.
If you just went around the whole time like, hey, it'd be funny if they mispronounced one of my favorite continents, Asa, ha ha ha. I don't know.
That's not even remotely funny.
No, that's both great examples.
The April one was funny, kind of.
Before we continue, and again, I don't know how much research you guys did on this. Are you ready to have your minds blown?
Are we?
I'm always ready to have my mind blown.
All right. As we talked about earlier in the episode, you know, child actors are always played by, you know, they'll sometimes have two kids, you know, like twins or whatever. Howie, on this episode, played by
Triplets?
two girls, Kara and Kimberly Albright.
Are you
Are
serious?
the actresses who played Howie, according to IMDb, which they don't just let you put anything up there, like it's legitimate things. He also had let's not have any gender issues here on this episode. Twice already I'm in trouble. It's gonna get worse as it goes on. He had also been on episodes of Knots Landing as well.
Let's see. Yeah, it does in fact say Howie was played by Kimberly and Kara Albright. So congratulations to the trans community. This was their first big television victory, playing Howie.
And also he was wearing a jacket that had the number 3 on it. So Michelle is into an older man, which is an older woman, I guess. I don't know. This is maybe the most progressive episode of TV in the history of TV.
This is a shockingly progressive show. Like a couple of weeks ago, their boss at the advertising agency, totally cool with Joey and Jesse being gay. Now Michelle's in love with the transgendered toddler. This is big stuff. We're breaking. It's not just some weird TV show that Alex is now looking up GIFs of.
Well, I wanted to look at Howie again. On second, like, I can see how it could be a girl.
Like, good for them. You know what? And for not making a big deal of it. Good for
Right.
Jeff Franklin. So they go to Michelle's room where Joey and Jesse do a big dating game intro for young Howie. And at one point, Joey says that he's 2'9". And I'm thinking it's weird that this complete stranger knows your exact measurements, you toddler, you. But again, it's Joey. He knows all sorts of things he shouldn't. And then Howie walks into the room, and Howie is a fucking monster. The biggest 2-year-old I've ever seen in my life.
Other than yourself.
I was kind of big, but I think I hit my growth spurt in, like, preschool and, like, when I was 3 or 4. But I was a giant then. This kid, they say he's 2'9". He's at least 4 foot. Like,
He is not.
He is a monster. Like, Michelle comes up to, like, his mid-chest.
like, it kind of looks inappropriate. Like, he looks like he should be dating at least a first grader.
But they're all like, hey. And then she's like, hey, do you want to have some snack? And he's like, of course I do. Because who doesn't want an animal cracker?
And then everyone walks into the room, and Stephanie shames DJ for not having a boyfriend because, of course, it's not like them putting huge sweaters on her to cover up some sort of fake weight problem is enough embarrassment for a 12-year-old girl. They have to embarrass her for being too ugly to have a boyfriend.
Could this also have been, we mentioned this is the first time that Michelle gets the A story. You know, could this be, to date, Jodie Sweetin's most competent acting performance in the show? Like, she seemed not to, like, rush through her lines or, like, weirdly say things and then just, like, that's the best take we're gonna get, we gotta keep it. Like, she delivered the joke about DJ not having a boyfriend, I thought, pretty well. And then later on, she has a couple other scenes as well. But I think this was... The show is finally starting to hit its groove a year and a half in.
I would say at least she delivered that one joke well. Because, yeah, like
Right.
you said, normally she's very much, hey, I'm Stephanie Tanner, and blah, 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 blah. So Danny's like, hey, guys, could you watch The Girls tonight? He says this to Jesse and Rebecca. I want to, and I quote, I want to catch Joey's set at the Laugh Machine. I love his act. Which is something I've never heard anyone say about their comedian friend. Ever. In those terms. I love his act. Of course, he gets in for free and he's cheap. Even though he's the richest person in the world and can support an entire, like, 7-prong family and live in a huge house in San Francisco on his measly salary.
And Jesse's like, but I have a date. And Becky's like, it's okay, Jesse. I'll bring Howie over and the kids can play and then we can play.
She straight up says, hey guys, we're gonna fuck later.
Like, in a room full of people, it's like, yep, leave the kids with us, because the minute their eyes are closed, we're getting down to business.
Like, it was almost a little lewd. Like, I kind of felt like I needed to, like, avert my eyes and cover my ears.
It was very PG-13.
I would like to say out of character for Becky, but she has proven to be nothing but an insane person, so really it could go any way, shape, or form with her.
Yeah, she's kind of a crazy, again, sociopathic sex machine.
Fits right in.
Yeah. Like, she took everything that was awful about Jesse last year and tucked it in her vagina. And now Jesse's like, what? What's going on here? So we go to the girls' room, and Stephanie's hitting herself with a paddleball thing. Because, again, Stephanie Tanner was born with a concussion and never got over it. And then Kimmy Gibbler runs into DJ's room, ironically enough, since you're on the show, Leonard, wearing wrestling tights.
I was trying to figure out whose gear that was that she had stolen out of their bag, brother.
I was going to go 1998 Taka Michinoku from the WWF Light Heavyweight division, because they come up to about halfway up her shins, and they're blue and black, so very much Kimmy Gibbler is a member of Kaientai. She runs the DJ's room carrying the Wolfman, which apparently she rented from the worst, cheapest mom and pop shop ever, because it just has the Wolfman written in pen on the front of it.
Listen, how will they know it's the Wolfman unless it specifically says on the thing, Wolfman?
Now, you're a little older than us, and I'm not saying this to shame you.
A lot older, but that's all right.
Was this a thing they would do? Like, just write in pen?
Yes, when, in the olden days, gather round, children, when you would go to a video tape rental place, your primetime videos, your Take-Two videos, your so forth, you would go to the store and they would have, like, the actual box on the shelf. And that, like, let's say you're renting like a Nightmare on Elm Street or a Crocodile Dundee or whatever it is, the actual box is on the shelf, and then behind it is the giant black clamshell case with on the spine written the name of the movie, and then like sometimes like the logo or the business card or whatever for the store that you rented it from. So that was a common practice.
Well, that's still kind of how video stores work, except that they have like printed labels and things.
Yeah, it would just be handwritten on there.
Yeah, see, like, our mom and pop shop in lovely Roachdale, Indiana, again, you're talking to the winner of the 1994 International Roach Race, and in Roachdale, Indiana, at the Roachdale Festival. We had one, it was Pat Allen's Video Store, which is literally what it was called, Pat Allen's Video Store. That was the sign up front.
And Pat Allen was Tom's best friend.
Because she used to have all the wrestling tapes, and she would hold them for me. And then at 9 o'clock every Tuesday, when the wrestling tapes were like half one, get a rental free, my mom would take me over, and we'd get like 3 of them. And I'd sit there and eat ding-dongs and watch wrestling tapes all day. No, the way they used the clamshells, but they didn't write on it. So you would have to open the clamshell to see which tape was in which.
Gotcha.
We always went to Farmore, and the clamshells were clear, so you could see through them.
I like the black clamshell ones where you could do your own layer. You know, the ones like they had in this. Toward the waning days of videotape, when I would get something that I really wanted to keep a pristine copy of, I would make sure it was an SP, and I would get one of those cases for it, and I would print up on my computer in 1992 a label to go in the videotape. Wasted all that time. I couldn't tell you where any of those tapes are. They were mostly like wrestling.
I was in preschool.
I'm old. I get it.
I was going to Pat Allen's Video Store in 1992, running over in my Mickey Mouse shirt.
Well, you would have been in preschool too, because we were in the same grade.
Yeah. I was a tubby little 4'4" 4-year-old running over there. Bomb, bomb, bomb.
I wore lots of overalls.
What were the name of the brothers, the muscled up brothers that I brought up on here once?
The
Barbarian Brothers.
Yes.
I accidentally rented a number of their movies also from Pat Allen.
Accidentally? How dare you?
They were in the wrestling section because they had big muscles and they were always shirtless. So Pat Allen assumed they were wrestlers. So she would put them in, and she would always put Gallagher with the wrestling stuff too. It was weird. So I saw lots of Gallagher at an early age.
Was it that it was like special interest section, maybe?
No, because they had a separate special interest section that was the porn area.
Well, to be fair, you might be able to consider like Gallagher and Watermelon to be like a hardcore match or something.
Possibly.
There's usually a sledgehammer involved.
Yeah. But I also got spoiled because we moved to Crawfordsville, Indiana, home of Dick Van Dyke, when I was 8, and they had a Blockbuster. And they had the printed labels on the Blockbuster clamshells. And I was like, oh man, big time.
Crawfordsville is also where Ben-Hur was written, and Tom's parents live like 2 blocks from the place where it was.
So it's like, we're almost Ben-Hur. I don't know.
Where Ben-Hur was written?
Yes.
Let's not go bragging about that. Let's just say...
No, it's like on the signs, like at the city limits. Yeah. Like, it's like home of Ben-Hur.
Yeah, they throw the Strawberry Festival in the yard of the house where
No, that is not the house. That's the Lane place. The Lou Wallace Studies at the end of the road.
Oh.
Yes.
Whatever. It says, well then what's... Ugh. You know more about my town than I do.
They have Daughters of the American Revolution meetings there at the Lane place.
You're giggling about a thing we talked about off mic that nobody knows about.
Well, it's hard to keep track sometimes.
It certainly is, because I was about to say that's twice that came up. But no, only once.
Only once.
Disregard.
Yeah, you'll have to sign up to the premium section of everywhere you look. We just talk about, like, General Hospital on there. And the Daughters of the American Revolution.
I've never seen an episode of General Hospital.
Yeah.
I've seen several of Days of Our Lives, and I was a very big fan of Passions when it was on,
Yeah.
and me and my little sister would watch Passions all the time, and then, like, it'd be summer, and my brother would watch them with us, and then my dad would get annoyed that our brother was watching Passions, but he loved it. And so we just sat and watched Passions together all summer.
And to close up this whole Crawfordsville talk, every time we go back, I think to myself, since I used to live there, I look around and I go, I've been her. Thank you.
That's awful.
Thank you.
That's a terrible
awful.
Thank you. Jimmy Gibbler runs in with the tape, and Stephanie's like, I want to watch it. And DJ, showing shocking maturity, is like, no, you're too young, which is the correct thing to do. And then Jesse walks in, he stares at the clamshell, like inspecting it. And he's like, oh, the Wolfman, this is awesome. And he rips on Don King. And that's my favorite thing about Full House, is when they'll throw in a random insult about a celebrity that you can tell is, like, one of the writers has a beef with the guy.
And that's the second time they've talked about Don King's hair on the show.
I have a feeling like Jeff Franklin lost a bet over a Tyson fight. So every time they can get a ripping on Don King, they will. DJ's like, no, she's too young.
And Stephanie, of course, is like, well, we'll just see about that.
Yeah. And Becky's even like, yeah, I don't know, Jesse, she's pretty young. And Jesse's like, no, ladies, you're stupid.
Well, Stephanie's like, oh wait, no, DJ, I think, points out that when Stephanie watched The Blob, she wouldn't go near Jell-O for a month.
Well, I wouldn't either. Jell-O's gross.
Well, my grandma wouldn't take a shower for like 6 months after she watched Psycho. She would only take baths.
You would hear stories like that of when Jaws came out, like people were afraid that like the shark was going to come up like the toilet or something. It's like, are people that stupid?
Of the toilet? How's a shark even gonna fit in the toilet? How big is your freaking toilet?
But, okay, now I will say this. When I was 3, I was afraid to be in the tub when the water was being drained.
That's a common fear with small children.
I was assured that A, not only would I get sucked down the drain, but 2, the Hulk would be down there. And that scared the bejesus out of me as a child.
Now, see, as a kid, I had a similar fear, but it was about midgets.
All right.
Because my theory was midgets are grown-ups who are my size, but they have grown-up strength. So they're allowed to fight me if they want. So if a midget got mad at me, they could beat me up with grown-up strength, and I would die. So midgets scared me for the longest time until I hit 5 foot when I was in like 1st grade. And then it's like, this is stupid. I'm bigger than all of them.
As a small child in Indiana, did you encounter this many midgets that it was a problem?
No, but I would see them on TV, and they would have those beady little eyes.
What TV shows were you watching that had midgets in a featured role that were so distressing to you?
Wrestling.
Oh, okay.
There were so many midgets. Like Dink, the clown midget.
I was going to say Tiger Jackson.
Can we not talk about that?
What, about the clown midget that scared you when I made you watch it?
Yes.
Yeah, I made her watch a clip of Doink and Dink, and she, like, ran from the room crying.
You should make her watch that Survivor series where it was Doink and a team of clown midgets.
I'm not fond of clowns. Like, I can handle some clowns, like, if I know the clown, but...
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know.
Are you friends with several clowns?
We're friends with a clown.
Yeah, our friend Beth is a clown. She's tried out
My cousin was a clown when I was a kid.
So we actually do know clowns. That's a legitimate kind of thing, though. Our clown friend Beth is a very kind lady. She's very talented. Her boyfriend is a clown also.
Yes.
He tours Japan.
Did he go to Barnum and Bailey's Greatest Show on Earth Clown College?
I don't think he went to the college. Hasn't he been with Barnum and Bailey, though?
I think.
Yeah, like, I think he's been with their touring group. And she goes to, like, do the tryouts every year in Texas. And she's come, like, really close a couple of times.
It's a travesty that she hasn't gone on.
I guess she's a good clown.
She is.
That she goes to these tryouts and almost makes it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was waiting for a punchline. I'm sorry.
No, well, here's the punchline. I wonder if the politics in the world of clowning is anything like that in, say, the world of, like, stand-up comedy and or professional wrestling.
Possibly.
I've wondered.
Yeah, because, I mean, she's a very talented clown. She is up on par with all of the clowns.
She used to mime.
And then the mime industry dried up, and she went silent.
I saw that one coming down the freeway, Tom.
And Stephanie, she gets her way. Jesse's like, yeah, you can watch the movie. And then she goes, Kimmy says something, and Stephanie's like, if you don't scare me, nothing will.
And DJ loses it.
You would have thought that she told the Ben-Hur joke. Everyone laughed so hard.
The Ben-Hur joke is not funny.
Like, they pressed, like, the uber-duber laugh track button on this one. And yeah, DJ cracks up, like, oh man, she got you good.
And Kimmy gives her a death glare.
So we go to Becky and Jesse's room. Apparently sex was about ready to break out. And Becky's like, dude, you shouldn't have let her watch it. And he's like, whatever. And she's like, what's fun about a guy with a lot of hair who bites people?
And he's like, come over here and I'll show you. And they make out.
Seriously. These creeps. They go from, like, making out to talking about their future kids' names.
Yeah, like, she's like, would you let your child watch that if, like, it was your kid? And he's like, yeah, I wouldn't mind letting little Dustin watch it. And she's like, wait, Dustin? And she's not a fan of the name Dustin. And she's like, actually, it would be Emily. And he's like, I'm not naming a kid, like, my son Emily. And she's like, no, Emily's the girl name. My son is Prescott. And they, like, argue over Prescott and Dustin until they realize they're being ridiculous and agree to not argue about their kids' names until they've been dating at least 3 months.
Yeah, they go from, oh, hey, we're going to take it slow and not see each other exclusively in the Valentine's episode to 2 weeks later arguing over kids' names. Now, Leonard, when you and April were dating, how long did it take the kid's name talk to be brought up?
Quite a long time. Like, not even until we were married for a good chunk of time before the discussion of children had come up. And, there was discussion that if it was a girl that she would be named to also have my initials, but we couldn't like figure out a good middle name to fit the name scheme, so that fell by the wayside. But two things I want to point out. I listened to the show. Of course, this is being recorded in advance, so I'm a little bit behind. Have you guys, like, addressed the fact that Jesse's room is a 50s diner?
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah. Like, we've talked about the jukebox and all the memorabilia.
Right.
And...
Which must have been a bitch to get up those stairs.
And then the other thing is when they're going over the names, like, okay, so when Becky says, oh, we'll name our son Prescott, and Jesse goes, oh, I'd rather him be named Emily. It's like, let's shame the boy already. He's not even born. Let's give him a girl's name.
I was kind of surprised that she liked Prescott being all like Nebraska farm girl. It sounds very waspy.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about her family, because like a couple of seasons from now, they introduce, I think it's like her brother. Her cousin, who is played by Mark Lynn Baker of Perfect Strangers fame, who is apparently got like lots of money, but then he's like all hoity-toity. They're from fucking Nebraska. They can't make up their mind. But then like the next episode, Becky's like, oh, I love sitting on hay and going to bonfires. But then the next episode, hoity-toity.
Okay, you can appreciate bonfires and the finer things in life.
I don't know about that. I'm gonna go burn marshmallows with a stick.
It is fun to toast marshmallows. I like to set them on fire and then blow out the flames and eat the charred remains.
You know who else does that? Hobos. Hobos set food on fire and eat it.
Oh, when we used to go camping, we'd make hobo dinners. That's what my granny calls them. Like, you put a bunch of, like, meat and potatoes and foil and stuff and throw it in the fire.
Kind of like how I take homeless showers.
Yeah.
Homeless shower, by the way, is you stand shirtless by a sink and splash water on yourself if you don't want to jump in the shower.
By a sink, not even, like, getting, like, up close. But April is actually, her family were big campers as well, and they would do
they were hobos.
No, they weren't hobos. But I have been camping exactly 0 times in my entire life.
Sounds like Tom.
Yeah, I support that. Because camping's stupid.
Camping is not stupid. Camping is so fun.
Camping's great if you don't have houses.
There you go.
Camping is great all the time.
Like, if you don't have a roof, if you have no options to have a roof over your head and a floor on the ground, then yeah, camping's great.
Camping is fun, okay? It is nice to get out to nature and relax and get in touch with the sky.
I want homeless people who listen to the show to tweet at us at Full House Pod, and I want to know if camping's fun. If all of it's, I'm sure it's like the black face of the hobo community going camping. Oh hey guys, I'm gonna be homeless for a night.
It's not being homeless. It's like it's getting out into nature and like slowing down and recharging.
And not having a house and living on the ground.
I will say this, I have to take that back. The closest I came to camping was last year when my brother got married. His bachelor party was around a bonfire in the woods.
That's fun.
They brought strippers out on ATVs to dance on like a ramshackle stage that they had just built earlier that afternoon.
We ended Big Sue Jackson's bachelor party
Big
with
Sue
a
Jackson's
bonfire.
a professional wrestler, by the way, that we know.
But there were no strippers on ATVs, although someone who we know that the listeners do not know was naked except for his mother's French maid costume, and everyone saw his junk several times.
Was it your brother? Your brother who comes up on the show all the time?
No.
Right.
It's somebody that you know, too.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So going back to Emily and Prescott, they finally agree after like 2 minutes of this inane argument. Oh yeah, let's wait on this.
Oh, but about that, like, I feel like we were talking about baby names before we were even dating.
That's because I love baby names.
Well, so do I.
I don't want our kids to have stupid names.
They won't.
Like Josh. I hate the name Josh. No offense if my stepfather-in-law's listening. You're a cool dude. I hate the name Josh, though.
Also not a fan.
If your name is Michael, that's just... your parents should have just written default on your birth certificate.
Yeah, that was my great-great-great-grandfather's name.
Well, I had 5 Michaels in my first grade class, so I'm sorry.
Your dad's name is Michael.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that my grandparents weren't dum-dums when they named him Michael. I love my grandparents, but they were dum-dums about that.
Isn't Emily the default for, like, the girls' side of thing? It's like,
That's my sister's name, but he's got a sister named Emily, too.
There you go.
Spelled differently, though.
See, I was named after a drug dealer, so...
I was named after a cat.
My biological dad's drug dealer was named Tom, and he died in a car accident. So, there you go.
I almost said something different, but I am a twin, and we are each named after our... grandparent, like our grandfather.
You're a twin?
Yeah.
I never knew that about you.
I'm sure it's come up.
No.
I have 3 brothers. They all look alike, and they take after, like, my mom's side of the family in the looks department, and then I take after my father's side of the family. So, like, I look nothing like them. Like, I have curly hair. I have darker complexion. My face, I think, is like kind of like rounder than theirs, whatever that might mean.
I want to pinch those cheeks.
Right. It's my chubby cheeks that I've passed on to the man. But, so they 3 look like each other, and then I look like me.
So you're fraternal, then, I hope.
There you go. That's the word.
Because otherwise that would have been weird if you were, paternal is the other one? Or identical? Identical, but yet you looked so different. That'd be weird. It'd be
fun Full House related fact, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen are fraternal twins.
Oh, you're like an Olsen twin.
I wish I had their money.
Yeah, it should be your thing. You should be the Olsen twin of wrestling.
Well, you were never involved in the Olsen & Olsen mystery agency. We'll solve any crime by dinner time, so no money for you.
Jesse and Becky ended up agreeing by crossing their legs, all erotically. They're like, deal. And then they cross their legs like they're choking on a baseball bat to see who gets to go first. So they're watching Wolfman after hours downstairs. And Kimmy Gibbler, since apparently the producers thought she looked hideous, would howl along with the movie like a wolf. Oh, this tween child, she looks like a wolf. Let's make her howl.
And Stephanie's like, why is this lady in the woods instead of at a restaurant?
See, I don't watch horror movies. So is this like actual clips from the Wolfman, or did they just like, okay.
At the time, a lot of those Universal monster movies, your Wolfman, your Frankenstein, your Mummy, were in public domain, so you could use them in any way, shape, or form you wanted to.
Gotcha. Because, this just like kind of looked like the lamest movie ever, and everyone's like, it's so scary.
Well, old horror movies usually aren't actually scary, but they were scary at the time.
Well, then they should...
Right.
Yeah.
Like, in high school, we watched Nosferatu, and people were freaking terrified of it when it came out. And I just thought it was laughably funny. Like, I seriously was laughing because it was so ridiculous. But it's scary for people.
I'll defend Nosferatu and a lot of those other older horror movies, like especially like the Bela Lugosi Dracula and stuff like that. They're a lot more about like the atmosphere of things than actually like what's going on and like the terror and all sorts of things. Like, if you're watching them like in a classroom with a bunch of other people who are not paying attention because it's school and that's what kids at school normally do, like there was no jump scares, there was no gore, there was no nothing really like that in those like 40s, even all the way up to like 50s of horror movies.
I don't like gory movies.
I love horror movies. I miss watching horror movies.
I like psychological thrillers.
Go to the next scene, all the grown-ups walk in and the kids sleeping together. That's right.
Yes, Howie and Michelle are squished together in her crib.
Just kind of locked a little bit.
And everybody's like, "Aww!"
Like so loud that they should have woken up. Then they're screaming and "Aww!"
Becky's sister is there because they have to go catch their flight. And so she takes Howie and they go, and Michelle wakes up and starts crying for Howie.
No,
Howie, no go. Howie, no go.
I want to bring this up to you, Alex, because I believe you've seen way more Full House than young Leonard has.
Oh, I can guarantee it.
The actress who played Becky's sister, didn't she end up dating Danny as a completely different character?
I believe so, but I cannot confirm that.
Yeah, she was, the prankster kid. Oh my goodness, I'm blanking on his name.
Rusty?
Rusty, yeah. Rusty's mom. So there you go. Good job, casting agents who get lazy.
I was going to say, that's lazy.
This person's been on the show, but we know what they look like. Might as well. Because they do that with, there was a girl that Jesse dated in season 1 who ends up coming back a season from now in the Star Search episode.
But didn't she leave to go do a different show?
Yeah, I think we brought it up when either you or Ted Fox was on. Yeah, she left to do another show. It went like a season, and she's like, "Hey, I'm back," and they're like, we've got somebody else. Sorry." Because she was supposed to be Becky. Not Becky, like the actual character, but that was supposed to be her story.
Right.
And then it ended up not being.
Because Becky Donaldson came to town.
Yeah. So Michelle's upset over Howie having to leave, and then Danny picks her up and starts acting super racist towards Native Americans.
That's what I wrote.
Oh my
too.
God, yes. This was maybe my favorite / least favorite part of the episode.
Howie go, Michelle stay.
Yeah, she's like, and he said something about it take many moons to
Seriously?
get to Nebraska or something.
Like, he might as well have been like, Michelle, we go to casino now. We rip off white man. Jesus Christ.
Before we continue, I do want to mention the actress who you're talking about who plays Connie in this episode.
Yes.
Later this season, she plays a different character, and then 2 seasons from now, she comes back as Connie.
Gee, so
Shameless. Just
good job, Jeff Franklin.
I hope somebody lost their job over that.
I'm sure they're the ones that are currently doing the Tyler Perry. It was Tyler Perry. We can blame Tyler Perry. It was Medea's fault. Medea.
Medea.
We're in a dress. What a jerk. So Howie goes away. They pull the kids apart. Michelle's like, Howie, no, bye-bye. And there's no laugh track. Like it's 9/11 or something.
And she's just like pitifully going, Howie.
This is the second act, whatchamacallit, like in a Shakespeare play. Like, this is the turmoil of the thing. This is deadly serious.
There's a scene where Michelle won't sleep. That's pretty much it. They've gotten back from the stand-up. They're in their pajamas.
It's 2 a.m.
Yeah, which babies don't sleep that well. So it'd be more than likely she'd be up at 2 a.m. every once in a while, and they're freaking out like it's the worst thing ever. Stephanie, however, cannot sleep either, because she's freaked out by the movie. And then a car horn honks, and she goes, "Hey, it's an Isuzu," which is not the name of the car.
No, and again, I think this is one of those ones where it's like, yeah, we're just keeping this one in.
You can drive in a Suzu.
No, it's an Isuzu.
No, she said a Suzu.
No, she said Isuzu.
No, she didn't.
No, she definitely says it wrong. She says it like weird.
Well, it's still the same thing. She knows what she was. She's like 6, okay?
She knows who she is, just like how Howie, those little girls who play Howie, they know who they are, and they're proud of it. So DJ's like, I want to comfort you and make you warm milk. And
then Stephanie is convinced that DJ's George Michael poster has grown more hair, and obviously he's the Wolfman. So she runs downstairs into the kitchen, where she runs into DJ. They both scream. DJ chokes Mr. Bear. It's very... I don't even know how to describe it.
It'd be funny if they, like, paid George Michael, like, $50,000 to do a 5-second cameo to go, ugh.
Did they ever market a Mr. Bear doll? Like, is that something unique to the show, or is it something
I wanted one.
Right. See, that's the thing. I assumed that they would just be, like, making money hand over fist, like, once it got to, like, season 4 of the show, like, just
Mr. Bear got out that season.
No, he does. She has Mr. Bear, like, in the middle school, I think.
No, I don't think they could have, because Mr. Bear was technically... originally he was in a book called Edith and Mr. Bear, and somebody else had the trademark on the name.
Aha.
So,
that looks like a different Mr. Bear.
Yeah, but the name, they couldn't call it Mr. Bear, which it's a very generic name, but that's Hollywood for you. So Stephanie freaks out.
I don't necessarily know about that, because I'm pretty sure Like, there's a book called Mr. Bear Goes to Washington, I'm pretty sure. Oh, wait, no, somebody wrote that in college. Never mind.
Yeah, specifically your life experiences, much like your friend Dominique.
Well, I was mixing it up with Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, the movie.
So close.
So Stephanie runs downstairs, freaks out, wakes everyone up, and then Danny is like, "Whoa, Jesse, what a dick! You let her watch the movie." And I also, like, I've noted this before, but why the hell does Danny sleep wearing so many clothes? He's wearing, like, a kimono and pajamas and, like, everything. He's wearing every piece of pajama clothing possible.
He wasn't wearing one of those hats like the father in the Night Before Christmas wore.
True.
And at least he was wearing pants. Like, remember when they would, like in the olden days, like when I was a child, when adults would just wear, like, a sleep shirt and slippers and then roam the house with a candle on, like, one of those little metal deals? They don't even make those anymore.
Or, like, the onesies where they would have, like, the button flap for the butt. So if you had to go poop in the middle of the night, just unbutton the back, flap it down, do your deal. Or if you wore it backwards, you'd just be complicated peeing. I don't know. But that reminds me of a story that has nothing to do with this. I got in trouble in 4th grade once because we had to, like, draw the condensation cycle and, like, the ground and the sky and all that. And I decided to draw a dead body in the ground where the condensation would go underground, and the corpse was naked in a coffin. And I tried to argue that all corpses get buried naked because I had never been to a funeral. I didn't know that they actually buried them in the suits. So that's my story.
Oh, and upon some research, she did not play Rusty's mom. She was Stephanie's dance teacher.
Gotcha.
The one with the messy apartment.
Okay. I knew she dated Danny.
Which I thought that at first, but her face looks different here. But I guess she was a little younger.
That, and she lived in Hollywood and was an actress. Gee, I wonder what those people do to themselves.
And if you look at her IMDb page, you'll see that she was also in one of the early Olsen twin movies, To Grandmother's House We Go.
She's probably a family friend.
Yeah, she ends up coming back as Connie for Jesse and Becky's wedding.
That's weird. If she played another character and then comes back as
the original character that she played.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
This show is a mess.
Maybe Connie and Karen are long-lost twins.
Like Danny and Manny Tanner?
Yes.
Were they setting this up for a spin-off, maybe? Like, if it got, like, so successful that we were going to do this, like, it was going to be,
It's just about people with dissociative identity disorder?
Yes! Listen, the most progressive show in 1989 having transgendered toddlers is going to tackle this issue as well. But then it was getting too big.
Speaking of transgender, Joey decides the best way to calm down Stephanie is by playing an improv game where Danny plays the Wolfman's mom, Virginia Woolf, which I thought was kind of clever. And Joey was the Wolfman's dad, who was like super uber Jew Italian. And Jesse was the Wolfman. And they like enacted like the whole sitcom in 30 seconds. And then Jesse apologizes to Stephanie as the Wolfman. And Stephanie, having brain damage, thinks that it's the Wolfman and is like, I forgive you, Wolfie.
Listen, she bought into the bit. They were that good at improv.
Danny was Virginia Woolf.
Yeah, I just said that as you were scrolling through your phone looking at your email.
Well, I got it was my school email. I wanted to make sure it wasn't anything important.
Hear that, listener? She thinks school is more important than you. What a jerk. So it's morning now after the improv game, and Michelle, I put Stephanie for some reason. Michelle's like, where's Howie? Where is he? And Jesse's like, he's back in Nebraska because I'm a jerk.
So she sits on his foot and clings to his leg and refuses to let go for anything.
And everyone in the entire house rushes in and wants to play every toy in every game with her at the same time.
Yeah, like DJ's reading a book and someone's playing like a musical instrument and like someone's got a stuffed animal and it's chaotic.
And someone is also singing Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Again, this comes up on the show. When you guys do like bingo cards or something for this show, like for all the tropes that they just repeat over again, I think Row, Row, Row Your Boat is the free space in the middle.
As opposed to the square space, which I will not mention again since they don't sponsor us.
The best rendition of Row, Row, Row Your Boat that I've heard is in Troop Beverly Hills when they're on the boat and there's a band of like patriotic pirates playing a jazz version of it. It's kind of awesome.
By the way, Beverly Hills Scout, the Troop Beverly Hills. I forgot the name of it first. I can't even though you just said it. That's our like going to sleep sound every night. I put in earbuds because I don't want to hear it.
I turn it on Netflix on my phone and go to sleep.
That's the Shelley Long vehicle that she left Cheers to do?
Yes. And it's wonderful and enchanting and delightful.
Whereas last night, I didn't want to hear it so much that I listened to the Howard Stern 9/11 episode.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry. There is nothing better than the Cookie Time song.
I lived that episode, man. Like, I was listening live as that happened, like, on my way to go take a licensing exam for my super secret science job.
Like, I get why people were upset, but I was surprised at the amount of racist slurs that got through on the air.
Oh, it was a different time, Tom.
Like, I don't know. Like, maybe the dude at the board, who I just want to think, I'm not a Stern guy, so I just want to think it's Paul Giamatti sitting there at the board. Like, bleep, WNBC. I watched that movie when I was like 9. I shouldn't have. The avocado scene? Ugh.
The unrated, like, not the USA version that had, like...
That was the HBO version.
Wow.
Yeah, with the girl sitting on the subwoofer, yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Private Parts. Google it.
I went to the red carpet premiere in New York for that.
Ooh.
Yes.
Did you meet anyone special?
Axel Rotten.
Ooh.
ECW and WWE wrestler, yes.
That's fun. I met Axel Rotten at the Lafayette, Indiana National Guard Armory. And I thought I've met him at like 30 grocery stores because from behind he looks like every old woman that lives in this town. For people who don't get that reference, Google Axel Rotten. We're giving you lots of stuff to Google.
That's right. You got to do work for this podcast.
You think you could just sit there at work and listen to this? No, it takes work to piece together everything. It's a game. It's an RPG, if you will.
It's the first interactive podcast in the history of podcasts.
Yes. You have to put together all the clues in order to get the jokes.
Jesse decides that he knows what Michelle needs, and so he takes Michelle to his room.
See, normally when Jesse says something like that, bad things happen.
Well, he does put her in his bed and climbs in with her, although, not in a pretty way.
Yeah.
And he's like, I like when you smile, and I want that to happen again. So I'm gonna sing you the song that I wrote for you.
But see, if you said that,
smiling.
Let's see, if you said that on the streets of New York, someone would film it on their phone. It would end up on Gawker, and then there'd be a whole Twitter thing about it.
Like, he wants her to stop worrying about Howie and Nebraska and start thinking about her family who is there and loves her.
She's 2 years old. He might as well have been like, you selfish little bitch.
And so he sings this song, which, if you infer from the lyrics, is called Michelle Smiling.
Yes, you can YouTube it, or it will start playing right.
Michelle's at home, the cats are purring. She doesn't know what worry is. She's safe and warm, and she's not sorry. She doesn't know what sorry is. Michelle's smiling. Michelle's smiling. Michelle's smiling. The news is on, and Michelle's laughing. Can't make sense of what the pictures show. She knows no fear, she keeps on laughing. If we could only know what Michelle knows. Michelle's smiling. Michelle's smiling. Michelle's smiling.
she's not smiling as he sings this song. And in the middle of the song, they go to a montage of Michelle. And, like, all this weird music suddenly takes over. There's, like, flutes and violins and weird things.
And Michael Bolton screaming, Michelle smiling.
It's weird and random. And then he goes back to Jesse and his guitar, and he's, like, mega into it. Like, he's got his eyes closed, his head's rolling around. Like, he's, like, so into singing this song. And then he finally finishes, and Michelle finally smiles. But then she's like, Howie.
But if you listen to the lyrics really closely, it's about how babies are stupid. Like, she's watching the TV, but only get shapes. I wish I could think like Michelle does.
This was How Can You Talk to an Angel Before the Heights. That's what they were trying to do. This was supposed to launch John Stamos' singing career.
Oh, it definitely felt like Stamos was like, guys, I got a song.
Yep. I wrote a song. We could write an episode around the song, and they just like kind of retrofitted and worked backwards from there.
It's like how he got a haircut, and so they had to film a show after they already filmed the season premiere to be the season premiere.
Like, why couldn't we just be okay with the idea that he might have gotten his haircut off camera?
Yeah, like it's a nicer haircut than the one he had.
Because his hair was his whole personality.
Well, it still is, but, you know, it's just less mullety now.
See, what I want to know is, like, the part in the middle with the crazy, like, superhero music. Like, was that something that Michelle just imagined? Or did an actual, like, choir step into Jesse's room and then, like, quietly leave? These are the things I want to get Jeff Franklin on the show to answer. So we go downstairs in the morning, and the family is gathered around the TV.
Becky to the rescue.
Apparently, before they left the airport for Nebraska.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah, they set Howie down in a chair and made him do a hostage video for Michelle. And somebody, I forget who it was, somebody I believe on Facebook who was a fan of ours sent us a joke saying that he thought that they invented Skype because they were interacting via screen.
Yeah, he's like, hello, Michelle. And then she's like, hi, Howie. How are you? I'm okay. I miss you. I miss you too. And like,
yeah, again, it's a VHS tape.
Plenty of time, like, in between for her to like answer, so she thinks she's talking to him.
Yeah, it's not a live conversation. It's just they're fucking with Michelle.
And Joey's like, Becky, I think you're onto something. Fisher Price video dating.
Let me get in on that. Is kind of how he sounded.
And TJ's like, Michelle's finally acting like a real person.
Oh boy,
she's got all these strange feelings for these boy girls.
Apparently, you know, you're not a real person until you have romantic feelings for someone else.
Oh, goodness.
And Jesse's like, Becky, I'm really impressed with you. You're going to be a great mom. And she's like, you already are.
No, he says that not because she does any, like, great mom tricks. It's because solely on the fact that she suggested that Michelle get entered into a playgroup.
Well, yeah, and that she was right about Stephanie not watching the movie.
Oh, hey, you're kind of okay morally.
Yeah, Becky's like, maybe it's time for Michelle to be in a playgroup with kids her own age. Like, she's like, like she's an authority figure in Michelle's life. Like, she has a say. You know, and Danny's like, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Just,
like,
it's so weird.
She's the fucking co-host of the show with Danny.
Not the co-parent. He's already got 2 of those.
And like in the last 6 episodes, she's now making decisions for his daughter.
It's the female influence on the show. They're just like kowtowing. It's like, yeah, it's one less decision we have to make. Whatever. If this goes horribly wrong, we could just blame it on her. This wasn't us.
Michelle's like, I want to watch it again. More Howie. And then, like, she blows a kiss at the Howie, and the Howie blows a kiss at her. And then everybody just starts chanting, Howie, Howie, Howie. And that's the end.
Howie was named after that because they were like, Howie make this girl look like a boy.
Oh, boy.
Your jokes are so bad tonight. Like,
that was good.
So bad.
That was good.
That was
Thank you.
I have a tape here that might help.
Let's watch the tape.
Watch this, Michelle.
Howie! Michelle! Hi, Howie! How are you? I'm fine. I miss you. Me too.
Now that's a smile I was singing about, kid.
Rebecca, you might be onto something here. Fisher Price video dating.
We made it last night at the airport. I just thought these two would make great video pals.
This is weird. I mean, I know Michelle's only 2, but she's acting like a real person. I guess you're never too young to need a friend. Our little Michelle is growing up.
Well, maybe it's time to put her in a playgroup with kids her own age.
That's a great idea. At least she'd have some friends in the same zip code.
I'm so impressed with you. I mean, and you're right on about everything. You were right about the monster movie. You came up with this idea to make a tape for Michelle. You're gonna make a great mom.
Thanks. You already are one.
Howie again.
Michelle, you just saw Howie.
Howie, 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 Howie.
Hey,
Howie.
why don't we watch a little HTV? All Howie, all the time.
So that's the episode. Based on the episodes presented, we'll start with you, Leonard. Who do you think was literally the worst?
I'm going to have to say in this episode it was Becky. Becky was the worst. She co-ops her TV show to bring her family on and to hook up dates with her pseudo-boyfriend who she may or may not have been cheating on just a week or two prior. Again, she just takes over the raising of this child. She was a bad person in this episode.
I kind of agree, but just to play devil's advocate, I'm going to go with Jesse because he basically like traumatized Stephanie just so he could have sex.
I can see that, though. I also have Becky. Mostly because she leads Jesse on again. Poor guy. But yeah, also for stepping in. Having the balls to step into someone else's house and make decisions for their kids. This is like a very primitive version of that show on NBC now, The Slap. Like, she might as well have just stepped into the house and slapped Michelle in the face. But then they didn't do anything. But yeah, like you said, she co-ops the top-rated San Francisco morning TV show to do a cute thing with her nephew. And then she introduces him to Michelle, despite the fact that he's leaving in a day. And she's the reason why his heart's broken. And she's the reason for the season, all these issues. So congrats, Becky. 2-1. You were literally the worst this week. Before we go, I got a person to cuss out.
Uh-oh.
Yes. I'm getting my throat ready. If you would like to be cussed out by me, here's what you do. You go to tinyurl.com/fullhousepodcast. You subscribe to the podcast. You rate us, hopefully 5 stars, preferably since we're awesome like that and we're great and we're the best show in the world. And you write a short review. And once your review pops up, you can add it to my list to be cussed out on a future episode. Like this fella right here, whose fake name on the internet is Social Skills, all one word. So, here we go. First off, your fake fucking name is stupid. Social Skills. Oh, you probably say please and thank you. I'm gonna say fuck you. For using words like heady and footy. Are you fucking British? Is this a football show? Do you like rugby? Rugby's stupid.
Is it pajamas?
Possible. Pajamas. He probably says pajamas as opposed to pajamas because he's fucking English. Look at me. I drink my fucking tea. Fucking dicklick. Listen. You mentioned Huey Lewis in the news. Huey Lewis, it's like, actually, Huey Lewis is kind of cool. But the news is stupid, because it's always, like, bad things, like explosions and death. And you're, like, the death of people. You're like, oh, man, someone I love died. It's kind of the feeling people probably get when they hear you, Social Skills, you fucking idiot. So thank you, Social Skills, for leaving that lovely review. It was a great review, actually. If you go on iTunes, read it. It was very kind, very nice. Again, tinyurl.com/fullhousepodcast. Rate, review, and subscribe, and I will cuss you out and insult you very badly on a future episode, much like I did to the kind sport Social Skills. I forget the person's real name. I think he tweeted us a screen cap also. But before we go, Leonard,
fun fact, my grandma loved Huey Lewis on the news.
It's Hip to Be Square is the name of a song that he did.
It is.
But before we go, Leonard, where can people find you on the internet if they would like to get more of Leonard F. Chikarason?
I am on Twitter at LF Chikarason. I'm not going to spell it for you. And my website catch-all for things for the podcasts that I do is longboxheroes.com. It's a comic book podcast, comes out every Wednesday night. Subscribe on iTunes, etc., RSS feeds. And then on Fridays, we have a kind of ancillary podcast after dark podcast sort of thing. No RSS feed for it. You have to actually physically go and seek it out. I know Tom is a fan, not a comic book fan, so it is not comic book stuff. It's just kind of like stream of consciousness sort of discussions that my co-host Todd and I have about like whatever's going on. It's like how we talk for 20 minutes before the show starts. We just started recording that, and that would be another podcast.
Yes, I was going to mention that I love After Dark. I try to download it every Friday before I go into work for those little awkward moments between the big podcasts, where I can listen to you guys curmudgeonly discuss conventions and I don't know, England and things like that.
Monster trucks.
Yes, I texted you about the monster truck thing while we were at the Container Store.
We didn't go to the Container Store.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't. I wanted to, but we didn't.
Then what was the one that we went to that I got, that in exchange for me getting to buy that action figure you got to go to? The one, it was after IKEA. I thought that was the Container, because it was by Walmart.
We didn't go to the Container Store, though.
But which one did we go to?
The one in Indianapolis?
Possibly.
I don't remember what it's called now. It used to be called Garden Ridge.
Okay, well, I thought it was the Container Store.
No, it's Homestead. I wish it was the Container Store.
What action figure was it?
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Like the Fancy Legends one?
No, I don't buy the Fancy Legends ones because I take them out of the package.
Oh, see, I would get the Fancy Legend one and take it out of the package.
I'm trying to, partially I play with them, and partially I want to build up a collection for the kids in the future.
Oh, there you go.
Because Alex is going to get mad when I say this aloud, but I want them to have some. But with that, as Alex has this horrified look on her face.
It's called At Home.
At Home. That's the name of the store if you want to go to that in Indianapolis, Indiana. As is custom for our guests, I'm gonna start a sentence. I want you to finish it to end this off. Everywhere you look, there's a
coward in Texas.
You're lost out there, you're all alone. A light is waiting to catch